you have logged in, click on the courses. There you can see course list, and in this course list you can see wide range of courses. Hi guys, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I am Usha, so I welcome you to Rathod's IAS. So in this class we are going to see current affairs of 20th July 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let us try to see first topic. So this first topic I picked from The Hindu editorial. So actually if you go through this article, so you will be getting a lot of insights regarding ancient monuments in India and how they have been evolved and what is the important significance of those ancient monuments. And actually so this article we can connect with our day before yesterday's article regarding this new ancient monuments and archaeological sites and remains bill of 2022. So recently here Parliament said that so we are going to introduce this bill in this monsoon session, and this bill which is going to give more teeth to this archaeological survey of India. Okay, so actually to this act, that is Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958, so we came with series of amendments in 2010 and as well as in 2017, and again we are mainly coming up with some changes in that act. So if this bill which mainly passed, and even when our president he gives assent to this bill, so we are going to come with some more relaxations regarding protection area, okay, around this ancient monuments, that is monuments of national importance. So this is some brief background. So now let us try to see so why this article is in news, and we are going to see about evolution of this ancient monuments. So how these monuments and you can talk about architecture that had been developed in India. So we can talk from ancient times till present. Okay, so we are going to see all these topics, and I want to make you to involve with me, and whenever I am asking the question, so try to answer those questions in the comment box. So try to make this video more it is like a two-way, okay, two-way conversion, not from only one side. So now let us try to see this topic. Actually this topic is important from your history point of view. So where we will study our ancient monuments architecture, that is in our history part, especially in our art and culture we will be studying that. So if you go to the syllabus of this art and culture, so you have to refer or read about the architecture from the past till present. So it includes ancient, medieval, modern as well. So if you are talking about this article, so especially why we are talking about these ancient monuments now. So if you're following this current affairs, you might have saw about the statue of our national emblem. So recently our Prime Minister he unveiled this bronze statue of this national emblem, and it is on the top of our new Parliament House building. So actually there were some changes when you are comparing with our old statue and this present statue. So actually regarding this statue also there is one article in our text and context. So at last when we are discussing this Hindu newspaper PDF, there I am going to explain you about that. Don't worry about that. So actually now what happened, so our Prime Minister he unveiled bronze statue of national emblem at the top of new Parliament House building. And because of this there are many controversies that we can see, and these controversies are seen in the newspaper and as well as in TV news channels. And even government which may announced that they are going to introduce a bill. Okay, so this bill it is going to modify law which is dealing with ancient monuments in India. And this bill said that, so this bill which is going to provide more teeth, that is more power to this archaeological survey of India. So if you are talking about ancient monuments and monuments of national importance and some archaeological site, they are protected by this archaeological survey of India. Okay, so here actually this bill which is mainly going to provide more power to this archaeological survey of India. So now let us go into deep. So this move which mainly align with the bill with the new bronze statue, so which has a more aggressive expression than an ancient Ashokan sculpture from Sarnath. So actually we came up with this emblem, we took our national emblem from this Sarnath. Okay, Sarnath, from this Sarnath ancient sculpture of Ashokas. So from Ashokan sculpture we came out of this our national emblem. So we are going to talk about history of this national emblem, where we are going to discuss our Hindu newspaper PDF. So here, if you are talking about this bill along with this new bronze statue, so which has more aggressive expression. So if you are comparing with our ancient Ashokan sculpture, and if you are comparing with the at present new national emblem which been unveiled on the top of our parliament building, so it is having a lot of difference. We can see it is like a more aggressive form that we can see. So if you see details, it mainly says that if you consider a current law, so in current law we have this section 20 of this ancient monuments and archaeological sites and remains act of 1958. So actually it was last amended in 2010, and in 2017 also we came with some changes. So here in this amendment especially we came up with the construction we need to prohibit. Okay, so there is a ban of construction around 100-meter radius of monument of national importance. Okay, so actually we are coming up with the protected area around, if there is any monument here, so around this, so for 100 meters, so it is considered as a protected area. And from this 100 meters again 200 meters, it mainly comes under especially the regulated area. So we are coming up with normally, so activities they need to be regulated within the 300 meters radius of this national monument. And this bill, which is mainly going to come up with the revising of this section 20 of this act, and it mainly said that so there are monuments which are present, so based on their importance, so here expert committee they are going to decide whether we can go for this prohibited area or this regulated area or not. So prohibited area within 100 meters of radius and extended, that is 200 meters of radius from this protected area, we call them as regulated area. So now it is an expert committee which is going to decide regarding this protected area and as well as regulated area now. So this is the one change that we are going to have if this bill which mainly passed in our parliament and after getting the assent from our President of India. So if we are talking about role of Archaeological Survey of India, so here Archaeological Survey of India, which is going to protect about 3,700 archaeological sites and even ancient monuments in India. So if we are talking about history of this architecture in India, so first we need to talk about Harappan culture. Yes, we all know that those Harappan civilization, they are the first level of urbanization in India. So we came up at that time, so we used to have well planned cities and we used to have a proper drainage system, proper grid system. So in the grid system, so the buildings they had been built, and we have number of structures. So even at that time they used the baked bricks to build these structures, and they were very strong, and we used to have a good drainage system as well. Okay, and we have some important structures like Great Bath in Mohenjo-daro, and we used to have great granaries, and we used to have even fire altars, and some areas they were the manufacturings of bangles. Okay, so we studied about that Harappan culture in detail in our ancient history, right? So here if you are talking about the first architecture in India, that is in our ancient civilization, so we can talk about this well planned cities in Harappan civilization. And after once this Harappan civilization which started mature, so again what happened, by the decline of this Harappan civilization, we saw there were the rise of number of empires. So these empires they mainly proposed some egalitarian ideals, and even we saw development and dispersion of Buddhism as well. Okay, so by the time of Ashoka, so Ashoka mainly started spreading of this Buddhism to other countries as well. So even he sent his son and as well as his daughter to other countries for the spreading of this Buddhism, and he started spreading of Buddhism by using of this some major and as well as minor edicts. Right, so after Kalinga war, okay, we saw there was a great change in this Ashoka, and he followed Dhamma, right? So here the first one here we have to remember is Harappan civilization, and later on rise of empires, and later on dispersion as well as development of Buddhism. And next one here is later on we came with temple architecture. So if you're focusing on this temple architecture, is a very important topic in our ancient art and culture, and you might be getting questions from this temple architecture in your mains and even in your prelims. So actually in 2018, so one question from this temple architecture that I remember is regarding Vijayanagara Empire. So here they ask question regarding mandapas. Okay, mandapas. So if you're talking about, if you're coming back and if you're talking about this temple architecture, so we used to have Nagara, we used to have Dravida and as well as Vesara. So Nagara style of temple architecture mainly seen in northern India, and Dravidian type of architecture that is mainly seen in southern India, and in the central India we can see the mix of both, that is Dravida and Nagara, and we will call it as Vesara style of temple architecture. And after once we came with the flourishing of this temple architecture, so later on we saw the Delhi Sultanate and Mughals, they entered India and they started establishing of the Sultanate polities. Okay, and as well as they came with the creation of competitive encounters. Okay, and if you're talking about Mughal architecture, we need to talk about especially Taj Mahal, and you can talk about double dome structures, and they came with different styles in the architecture. And you can talk about Qutub Minar, etc., and Red Fort. So these are some architecture of this Mughals and as well as Delhi Sultanates. And later on what happened with the decline of this Mughals, so regional kingdoms again they came into rise, and in this regional kingdoms again we have different styles of architecture. And after once as Britishers they entered into India, so they started colonial rule, and again there is a spread of this British architecture in India, especially we can see in the Kerala. So Kerala there are a number of forts of this British style. Okay, so in this way here we can see architecture India had been evolved, and it is a mix of different styles. Okay, so if you go to any function, okay, so if you are going to especially some religious congregations, you will be getting, so in one plate you will be getting like more than 11 or 15 items of food, right? So in the same way, if you move from one place to another place, you will be coming across different styles of Indian architecture. So we can say unity in diversity even in the architecture in India as well. So because we have rural empires, and we have especially Buddhism, we have Jainism, we have different temple architecture, and India which mainly ruled by different kingdoms in the different periods of time. So we have even Islam rule as well, and we also have French rule in some areas, and as well as Dutch and Britishers. So the style of architecture which mainly differs from one to another. So because of this we can see rich heritage that is present in our India, and we need to protect them. And if you are talking about the larger connections with this monuments or architecture, so historically each monument was integrally connected to landscape. So whenever any landscape that you are coming up with means that will be having some connections with the land, with the nearby area, geography, etc. So if you are talking about this rock cut sanctuaries from Marburg, that is Bihar, to Ajanta, and even from Masroor, that is Himachal Pradesh, to Guntupalli, that is located in this Andhra Pradesh, they were mainly connected to outcrops and as well as canyons. So what is this canyon? Canyon, it is one of the erosional feature that is mainly created by this moving water, especially river. Right, so here this rock cut sanctuaries, they are mainly connected to these outcrops and as well as canyons. And next one here is, if you go to Karnataka, you can see this Pattadakals temples. They were symbolically they linked to this Malaprabha river, so that used to flow in this Karnataka area. And next one here is in Gujarat, Viramgam's Munsar Talao. So it is one of the centerpiece of landscape, which is mainly connected to interlocking of ponds and as well as gates, wells, irrigation canals, and as well as farmlands. So if you are talking about this Lucknow's Imambaras, they were tied to the markets. They were mainly tied to these markets, palaces, and as well as professional roads and gardens. So this is about the interconnection that we can study. So if you are talking about after once this 1857, that is at that time we saw this Sipahi Mutiny, right? So it is also called as First War of Independence. So after once the Sipahi Mutiny happened, so here what happened, Britishers, they came with the reorganizing of cities, and they came with the widening of streets, and they came with the demolition of the dwellings, etc., especially for the popular, especially for this uh, especially for this this one proper administration. Okay, so these are some important changes that we can see here. So once these areas or these recognized cities, they had been destructed, and as well as when these Britishers, they removed some sculpture assemblance, then that mainly felt with inconsistence with the forms and as well as functioning of the buildings. Okay, so here they came with this demolishment or dismantling of some areas where they found they do not have proper functions of that buildings, and if they are not interested then means they came with the demolition of those sites. So our past 75 years here after we got independence, so here archaeological survey of India, which mainly started protecting of these sites, okay, which have already served diverse needs. So how these archaeological sites which mainly served number of needs. So if you go back and if you see the past, yes, in Delhi we have number of grounds, and these grounds of Purna Killa, so they were, and even some other iconic buildings in Delhi, they quickly transformed into campsites for tens of thousands of individuals who are arriving from the newly formed Pakistan. So, and these refugees, they had been settled in the various neighborhoods and as well as cities. So, in this way here, the grounds of ancient period, they mainly emerged as a public spaces for exercise, and now even they act as a prayer meetings and even for protest and more. Okay, so they serve a good amount of services. And with the progressive transformation of the capital into this concrete jungle, the green edges around this Delhi, which mainly protected some monuments, became heavens for migratory birds. So whenever we are protecting these monuments, and if you are having proper greenery around that, yes, we can attract the migratory birds there, and small mammals and a host of reptiles and amphibians in that area. So it will be also helpful for our biodiversity as well. So if we are talking about endangering the commons, so whenever if there is any monument which is present here, so if we are providing the permission for the humans, or for example for human and as well as any other animal communities, like whenever we are permitting any developmental activities or any construction here, then what happens, that will lead to weakening of the foundations of that centuries old monuments, right? So if we are going for any construction of electric pole, so if this electric pole which mainly coming in the contact with this monument, means what happened, so already those monuments, they were built some centuries of years ago, so here that will lead to some harmness. And even if we are going for the building of an apartment near this monuments, for example, right, so what happened if there is any cement stack which mainly falls on this monument, means already, so those monuments of ancient times, they mainly use some other plaster of Paris and fresco techniques, so that will may cause some damage to that. So even if you're talking about the marble, okay, marble structure of India, so it is also one of the seven wonders, so that is Taj Mahal. So it's mainly built by the white marble, so because of pollution, that is mainly going to change into the green color. Okay, so even because of pollution and some developmental activities, that will lead to the danger. So here we need to protect our ancient monuments, our ancient heritage and culture. Okay, so here the chances of danger will be very high. So what is the need here? The need here is, it is a time to learn from painstaking efforts to preserve our composite tangible heritage. So we need to focus on this preserving of this heritage and ecosystem that mainly present around these areas. So if you are talking about some case studies in Bhubaneswar, the Odisha government which mainly formulated the scheme, and this scheme which is mainly focusing to protect the cluster of ancient temples, tanks and as well as ponds, etc. So it is having some regional identity, or we are mainly focusing on even restoring of habitats, etc. And not only this, even in the ancient city of Nagaur, so actually this Nagaur city of this Rajasthan, which is having some significance. So when you go back to our local self-government, so what is that? Let me know in the comment box. So if you have completed this local self-government topic, yes, you know about this Nagaur. Okay, I am sure that you will know about this Nagaur. So actually some areas in GS1 you will be getting repeated questions, right? For example, in the modern history you will be getting questions regarding Mahatma Gandhi for sure. And if you are talking about society, you will be getting questions regarding this, especially regionalism and as well as globalization, etc. And next one here is in polity, you can get question from this local self-government. So you have to be well prepared with this local self-government. So here this Nagaur, which is located in this Rajasthan, which have an insignificant importance regarding this local self-government. Let me know what is their significance. So especially the city of this Nagaur in Rajasthan, the local artisans and multidisciplinary teams, they led by conservation architect, that is Meenakshi Jain. So they mainly worked together to conserve citadel. So where is the citadel located? So let me know. And this one is reopen ancient gates and planting of trees and promoting of lively bazaar outside the main entrance, such that, so because of these bazaars which mainly came up outside these entrances, so it will mainly bring back some legacy. Okay, so we will be getting some new lease of life to this medieval complex as well. And even we can strengthen our social fabrics, how we used to present in this medieval times. So if you are conducting like that bazaars, then it will be also reviving the social fabrics as well. So in this context here, finally author says, yes, we need to protect our monuments. And now let us try to say next topic. It is about a new legislation that mirrors the old. So this article which is talking about again one important bill, that is the new drugs, medical devices and cosmetics bill. So earlier if you are talking about this drugs, medical device and cosmetics, there is like Drugs and Cosmetic Act of 1940. So once this bill it is passed in our parliament and president he gives assent, so this bill which is going to replace our Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940. So because of this is going to be very important. And now let us try to see this topic. And this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity point of view. And you may get a question regarding this topic for sure in this upcoming means. So the students who are going to prepare for this means, so please be prepared with this topic. So now let us try to see this topic, why it is in use. So the draft Drugs, Medical Devices and Cosmetics Bill of 2020-22 was released recently by Union Health Ministry. So Union Health Ministry released this Draft Drug, Medical Device and Cosmetic Bill 2022. So if you are talking about some highlights of this bill, so this bill which is going to replace Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940. As I said, so once this bill which is mainly passed means it is going to replace Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940 and even other sets of rules through which industry is currently run. So it is also going to replace some other set of rules as well. And this bill which is mainly seeks to regulate medical devices as a separate entity. They are mainly seeking to regulate this medical devices as a separate entity and comprise of the provision for the fines and imprisonment in case of injury and death related to clinical trials. So what is this clinical trials? So due to this COVID-19, I hope you might be knowing about this clinical trials. So phase 0, phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trials. So after all these phase of clinical trials is done, again the drug will be released into market. So after once drug is released into market, we will be coming up with this post surveillance or phase 4 clinical trials. So clinical trials means nothing but, so if there is any drug which is mainly manufactured, means we are going to test whether it is going to work or not. So for this we need volunteers, right? So here we will go for this clinical trials. Okay. So here if there is any death or if there is any case of injury during this clinical trials, there will be also some provisions regarding the fines and as well as imprisonments. And even this bill which also aims to regulate e-pharmacies as well. So these are some important highlights. So now let us try to see what is the need. What is the need to regulate these e-pharmacies? So e-pharmacy means nothing but, so if you are typing any drug and if you want to purchase online, so there are a number of sites they are mainly providing these drugs. Okay, drugs means nothing but I am talking about medicines. So if you are getting headache, means you will be searching for the tablet for the headache, and if you are getting any tablet, then you will be typing in that e-commerce websites and you are getting this drug, this medicine, right? So here in this e-pharmacies, what are the challenges and what are the advantages? So please pause the video for 2 minutes and try to type what will be the advantages of this e-pharmacies and what are the disadvantages of these e-pharmacies. So I hope you gave your opinion in the comment box, right? So if you're talking about why we need to regulate this e-pharmacies, So in India's e-pharmacies or online pharmacies, they are completely outside the law. Okay, currently there is no law which is mainly dealing with these e-pharmacies. And even these e-pharmacies, they are not even regulated under this 1940 law, that is Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940, or any other rules. So there is no rule which is present in India which mainly talks about these e-pharmacies. So even if you're talking about online websites, so we will be having number of websites on online. So they got license for a physical shop or storage unit perhaps, but they came with establishment of this online websites. So if there is a violation of rule, so drug inspectors, they do not know under which law or rule proceedings they can be done against the websites. So if any time if these drug inspectors, you are inspecting this pharmacies, and if they notice that any violence is happening, they do not understand under which law they have to book the case. So this is a one scenario that we can see in our Indian pharmacies. And this one here is, so here we need to have a law or a change in current rules, and we need to regulate this online pharmacies now. So apart from that, even drug inspectors, they often find that these websites are holding license from another state which is outside the jurisdiction of drug inspectors. So because of this, here they will be not coming under jurisdiction, and there is no proper action which is mainly taken. So we need a pan-India law. So further, these websites, they sell the medicine even without prescription. So without prescription, they are selling these medicines. Especially there are different categories of drugs which are present, or categories of medicines, that is A category, B, C, D and H. Okay, so if you are talking about H category of drugs, they need to be given only if you are having a prescription. And even without prescription, here this e-pharmacies, they are mainly selling their medicines on online. So if person places order in-house doctors from websites, write a prescription. So this prescription is uploaded to their database so that they can provide explanation over the medicines they dispense if there is an audit. But if there is no prescription, and if there is without prescription, whenever these pharmacies, they are dispensing the drugs, means they do not have proper records. So if you are talking about some important provisions of this draft bill, so this draft bill 2022, which mainly provides for compensation to participants or legal heirs. It is mainly providing some compensation to these participants or their legal heirs in case of any injury or death the patient suffered in the clinical trials, and even regarding the investigation of drugs or any medical devices. So even this bill, which mainly prohibits clinical trials or the clinical investigation related to drugs and medical devices. So here the companies, they are required to take permission from the regulator to conduct the trials, but this also not clearly mentioned in this 1940s Act. So because of this, we need this bill to be passed in Parliament. And under the definition of this medical devices draft bill, which mainly includes diagnostic equipment, that is the equipment which mainly used for the diagnosis of the disease, and next one here is related software and devices for assistance with disabilities, implants, instruments, etc. So this is about this topic, and now let us move on to next topic. It is regarding clarification sought on Tamil Nadu anti-NEET bill. So this article is talking about anti-NEET bill. So this bill has been in news since long time. So now let us try to see this topic in great detail. And if you are a beginner and if you are new to this Rathod IAS Academy, then you will be going to get the clear clarification of this Tamil Nadu anti-NEET bill. So I am going to discuss the details in detail, especially for the new students. And this article is important from your GS paper 2 under polity point of view. So if you see details, it mainly says that recently here Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA in short, informed Lok Sabha that they need to have some clarification regarding this Tamil Nadu anti-NEET bill. So this bill, which is mainly focusing on this, whether we need to come up with a removal of this NEET examination or not. So now, if you see some more important details, it mainly says that Minister of State for Home said in a written reply that Tamil Nadu Admission to this Undergraduate Medical Degrees Courses Bill 2021. So this bill, which mainly reserved by the Governor of Tamil Nadu for the consideration and assent of the President of India. So actually whenever any bill which mainly passed in this for example State Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council, so that bill will go to Governor and Governor may give the assent, or if the bill which is mainly dealing with some constitutional provisions, then that bill can be reserved by this Governor to the President. So in the same way, so this bill also had been reserved by this Governor of Tamil Nadu. So this is that. So as per the practice, here bills they reserved by the Governor of the state, they are mainly processed in the ministry in consultation with the nodal central ministries and departments. And accordingly, here the consultation process with nodal central ministries or departments concerned with the bill was initiated. So here whenever this bill, okay, for example this is the bill which mainly reserved by the Governor of Tamil Nadu. So in the practice, what we can see here, so this bill by the governors of the state, they are processed in the ministry and they will come up with consultation with the nodal central ministries and as well as departments. So accordingly the process with this nodal central ministries or departments, they consider with the bill was initiated. So this is about the status of this bill. So now let us try to see what are the arguments of this Tamil Nadu government, why don't want to come up with this NEET. So Tamil Nadu government is of the view that NEET creates inequality in society. So here Tamil Nadu government says that if you are coming up with this NEET exam, it mainly going to create inequality in society. So how inequality which is mainly created in the society? So here government says that NEET which mainly favors the rich who can afford to a special coaching, they can go to the coaching and they can crack this. So what are the situation of these rural areas who are poor people? So the affluent classes, they are hesitant to serve the rural areas. So even the people who are coming from the higher upper class, they are mainly showing some hesitance, okay, to serve in the rural areas, and they have the desire to pursue this higher education in the foreign countries. So on the other hand, 90% of these medical students from these rural areas, they are happy to serve in their native villages. So if we are talking about the features of the bill, Tamil Nadu government, which is on the view that these NEET classes, NEET classes, whenever we are students who are attending this NEET classes, only the rich they can attend, but not all, right? So this NEET creates, which mainly creates the inequality in the society. So NEET going to create inequality in society, and this NEET which mainly focuses on the rich, okay, which mainly favors the rich. So rich people, they have the money and they can go for coaching, but not all. Right, so affluent classes, they are hesitant mainly to even serve in these rural areas, and they have the desire to pursue higher education in the foreign countries as well. And if you are talking about the students who are come from these rural areas, they are very much happy to serve in the native villages. So here, because of this, here Tamil Nadu government, which is mainly against this NEET bill. Okay. So now, let us try to see a small announcement. We in Rathod, as we came with this foundational course for 2023 and 2024. So this course is very beneficial. So here we provide more than 600 hours of video classes. So here we are focusing on classical clarity. So if you go through these videos, I can ensure you that 100% there will be no doubt in the concept, okay, regarding any topic that you can take, okay, in your GS. So this course is one of the excellent course. So try to join this course, and now you can get this course in an offer price of 49,000 rupees, and you may not get the same price after 10 to 15 days. So please hurry up, and admissions are going on. So you can call me on this number, that is 8074765513. Okay, if you have any queries regarding this course, or this is also WhatsApp number, and you can also text me on this WhatsApp. And if you want to get this PDF of today's class, so you can join the Telegram channel. Link is given in description box. Okay, so now let us try to see some more important articles. Title says, who are Hatis of Himachal Pradesh and why do they want ST status? So here, this article which is mainly talking about the scheduled tribe status, and these Hatis, they are from Himachal Pradesh. And you may expect a question like, so some important tribes and their states. Okay, so here you have to know about this. For example, Irula types, for example, Chenchu types, Gond types, and as well as Hatis, and some tribes, especially from your Andaman and Nicobar areas. So you have to refer this. Okay, Aptanis from Arunachal Pradesh, like that. Okay, you have to see some important tribes in which state they usually reside. So this article which is talking about this scheduled tribe status. So now let us try to understand this topic, and this topic is very important. So why it is in news? So central government which is mainly planning to grant tribal status to Transgiri region which is located in this Sirmaur district. And the proposal, if it is cleared, means it is going to keep this scheduled tribe status on all communities living in this designated area. Okay, so the people who are living in this designated area of this Sirmaur district in this Transgiri region, so they are going to get this ST status. So let me know your opinion. So whether entire region which is given as a ST status, it is a good or bad. So what will be the future consequences? So please let me know your opinion in the comment box. And now let us try to see some details. So central government which is mainly planning to grant tribal status to this Transgiri region in this Sirmaur district. So here there was a demand, okay, demand from the long time regarding this Hati community to give this ST status. But now here central government which mainly considered this issue as is very serious, and they came with the option of extending entire this Transgiri region under this scheduled tribes status. So if we are talking about the status of scheduled tribes in India, so according to 2011 census, so scheduled tribes, they account for about 104 millions, and they represent 8.6% of our country's population. So the essential characteristics of these communities are, so they should be primitive tribes or primitive traits. Next one here is geographical isolation. So they should be living in isolated areas, and they should have a distinct culture, and they have the shy of contact with the community at large, and they should be economically also they should be backward. So these are some essential characteristics that need to meet to get this ST status. And here the government of India which mainly set up Ministry of Tribal Affairs in 1999. So it mainly focused on bifurcation with this Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And if you're talking about the scheduled caste, so we have a plan, and the plan objective it is to empower these tribal people, and we need to bring them, okay, bring them to this prolonged strategy of social empowerment, economic empowerment, and as well as social justice. So if you're talking about some constitutional provisions regarding tribals, so yes, Article 15 subclass 4 which mainly talks about special provisions for advancement of other backward classes, that is about scheduled tribes, and Article 29 talks about protection of interest of minorities, and Article 46 of DPSP which mainly talks about, so state they shall promote the special promote with special care and educational and economical interest of weaker sections of the people, particularly scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes. And Article 350A of Indian Constitution which mainly talks about instruction in mother tongue, and Article 350B which mainly talks about special offer for linguistic minority, special officer for this linguistic minorities. So these are some important articles that you have to remember. And even when you are writing case study in your essays, so try to ensure that you have to give these articles, especially if you are talking about the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Article 15.4, Article 29, Article 46, Article 350A talks about mother tongue, and Article 350B talks about special officer. So these are the articles that you need to incorporate in answers. Okay, so here in this mains answer writing practice, so the new batch it is going to be start from August 1st. So for that we are going to have a webinar regarding so how this mains answer writing practice going to be, and in that answer writing course, so we have some developments. So we are coming up with live interactions on every Sunday. Okay, so if you join that course, it will be much more beneficial, and we are going to give you some more extra information, the value added information regarding so which articles you have to involve in them, and how you can use the current affairs to write a good answer. And we will be also giving you some important data and as well as reports, and how can we organize in our answers, so you will be getting a great idea. So here we are going to conduct free webinar. Okay, so the webinar links will be given, I think, within 3 to 4 days. So you can join that webinar for free, and after watching that webinar, I hope you will be getting some ideas regarding how to write mains answer and how to write an essay, and as well as how to approach these case studies. Okay, so I will be providing you link, okay, in soon, and you can register for that webinar, and on that day of webinar you will be getting mail to join, how to join this webinar. So you can join the webinar, and that webinar will be not more than 45 minutes. I'm not going to waste your time at all. Okay, so now let us come back and let us try to see the social safeguards which are present in our constitution for this scheduled tribes and scheduled caste. So article 23, which mainly talks about prohibition of traffic, so that is human trafficking. So actually we also discussed about anti-trafficking bill as well, I think, in yesterday's lecture, and we discussed about article 24, which mainly talking about forbidding this child labor. And even in our constitution we have some economic safeguards as well. Article 244, which is mainly talking about the provisions of this 5th schedule. So 5th schedule shall apply to the administration and the control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes in any state other than the states of Assam, Meghalaya, and as well as Mizoram and Tripura. So article 25, which mainly talks about grant in aids. So you have to remember these economic safeguards as well. And if you're talking about the political safeguards, so article 330, which mainly talks about reservation of the seats for STs in Lok Sabhas, and article 332, which mainly talks about reservation of seats for STs in the state legislature, and article 334, which mainly talks about 10 years period for reservation, and that can be amended. Actually it mainly amended several times to extend this period of reservation. And so is article 243D, which mainly talks about reservation of seats in panchayats, article 371, which mainly talks about special provisions in respect to Maharashtra and as well as Gujarat. So it is about this topics. Okay, and if you're talking about this Hati area where it is located, here you have this Giri river, and here we have this Tons river, and here we have this Sirmaur, okay, Sirmaur district in Himachal Pradesh, and even here you can see this Yamuna river, right? So if we're talking about some facts regarding this Hatis, so it is a close-knit community, and they got their name from their tradition. They are mainly dependent on this selling of homegrown vegetables, crops, meat and wool, etc. And they will come up with the small markets. They are called as hut in towns. And this Hati community, so members, they generally don a distinctive, they will wear distinctive white headgear during the ceremonies. Okay, and this, if you're talking about this river Tons, which mainly divide it from this Janor Bawar region of Uttarakhand. And here if you're talking about disadvantages of this area, so this Hathis, they mainly live in this Kamru, Sangar and as well as Shilai areas. So actually these areas which mainly lag behind education as well as employment opportunities. So now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding NEET UG aspirant made to remove innerwear, says her father. So this article, that mainly it is one of the topic I can say. So it is having a many ethical dimensions. Actually, you know that about this NEET exam. So NEET exam, which is mainly considered as exam for the entrance to our medical sciences. So if you want to get the seat in the medical college, you have to clear this NEET examination. So actually in this article we are going to get more ethical dimensions. So in this type of questions that may also asked in your interview. So I decided why not, we can take this topic also for the discussions, as that it will be helpful for the students as well to think in some ethical dimensions, to get some ethical dimensions. So reading of current affairs is very important because we can add number of case studies in that. So if you see title, it mainly says that NEET UG aspirant made to remove innerwear, says her father. So her father mainly lodged a complaint, right? So the father of a girl who appeared this NEET, that is National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test for undergraduate medical courses, lodged a police complaint accusing that authorities at the examination center in Kerala's Kollam, they mainly ordering his daughter to remove her innerwear before entering the hall. Okay, before entering the hall, here female security authorities, they said that you have to remove your innerwear. So if you are not going to remove your innerwear means we are not going to allow to write the examination. So they also said that it is your life which is important, okay, so that they made her remove her innerwear. So if we're talking about details, so girl was allegedly told by female security personnel that she ought to remove her innerwear because of metallic hook. So in the innerwears, yes, there will be some metallic hook. So that metallic hooks they had been detected by metal detector. So there is no option for you. You have to remove your innerwear. So when she resisted, so she was told that she would be not allowed to take admission examination. So they are not going to allow to write the examination. So that will lead to some mental tension, okay, in the students. So this is the image of filing of complaint, right? So after security check, my daughter was told that hook of the innerwear was detected by metal detector. So she was asked to remove that innerwear. So not only that girl, even 90% of the female students, they had to remove their inners and they kept in one storeroom. So candidates, they were mentally disturbed while writing examination. So whenever the girls are made to remove their innerwear means, yes, whenever they are entering into hall, so they will be not feeling much secure. Okay, so they will be feeling very much inconvenience, right? So for the tens of thousands of these medical aspirants who are mainly clearing this NEET, so they will go to this, they will clear this security check, and it is one of the huge challenge even in this examination. So here the students, they will be not allowed to carry their earrings or any other metal, even the hairpin they will not allow. Okay, so here the candidates, they are asked not to carry any stationery and they have to follow the strict dress code, and they will be not allowing any wallets or any handbags, belts, caps, jewelry, etc. So these are all the things they are banned. Okay, so if you're talking about the dress code for this NEET examination, they will not allow the full sleeves and they will not allow any shoes or watches, mobiles, caps, wallets, jeans, etc. But there is nowhere they mention about the hook of innerwears. So if they might say about this hook of innerwears, yes, the students, they will be coming, they will be aware about this and they will try to avoid that. They will be coming up with other alternatives, right? Okay, so here the mistake, it is like from the authorities, they didn't said about this clearly in the notification. And one more thing here is, I can say here, if there is any awareness, okay, awareness can be created by the government or the authorities who are conducting these NEET examinations through either the coaching centers or through either colleges, and even they can send a personal messages to the students that they should be not even a hook should be detected by this metal detector. Then they will be avoiding this, right? So whenever the students, they are going to examination, whenever they are wearing their innerwears, whenever they are mainly made them to remove them, they will be feeling uncomfortable, and it is also the not good thing. And one more thing here I can say here is, so because of this mental illness or for example mental trauma that they are undergoing at that time of examination, so whenever there is any negative impact that is seen in the brain means, yes, automatically we can see that output will be there on the paper, so they can't do the paper. Okay, so this is also one important thing. And apart from that, if it is a last chance for the student to write that NEET examination, so because of this mental stress, whenever they are not whenever they are not give this good attempt, means what happened, whether again the authorities, they are going to give the one more chance or not. So we have to think on all these directions. And I want to say one thing here, if you are a district magistrate of that so and so area, so what are the steps you are going to take? So let me know this in the comment box. Okay, so now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding NAMASTE scheme. So government formulates NAMASTE scheme for cleaning of sewers, septic tanks, etc. So this topic is very important from your GS paper to under governance point of view. So if you see context, it mainly says that Minister of State for Housing and Urban Affairs said the government of India, which mainly formulated NAMASTE scheme, that is National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitization Ecosystem. And this scheme, it is for the cleaning of sewers and as well as septic tanks. So actually still now I can say here manual scavenging is still prevalent in India, and there are number of reports says that there is also the deaths related to this manual scavenging. So because of this, we need to use this technology especially to decrease this manual scavenging and to decrease the deaths caused by this manual scavenging. So this is one of the positive steps that mainly taken by the government, I can say. And if you see the details, it mainly says that the scheme is a joint venture of Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, so Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and as well as Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So it also aims to mainly provide one thing, that is zero fatalities, that is zero deaths in sanitation work in India. And here, so the one important objective of this NAMASTE scheme here is no sanitation worker come in direct contact with the human fecal matter and as well as sewage or sewer or septic tank sanitation. So here this is the one important aims and objective. So the ministry has short-listed the type of machineries and as well as core equipment that can be required for the maintenance of the work and safety gear for Safai Mitras, etc. And one more thing here is I came up with one news in BBC that is regarding discrimination. So the children who are mainly belonging to this community who are going for the sanitation works, so they are mainly kept aside, and in the midday meals scheme, so they asked to carry their own plates and as well as their own glasses, and they are mainly made to sit separately. So the teacher directly they are saying that, so you are belonging to the so and so community, so you should stay away, and they are separated from the upper caste people and they are served. I saw this news yesterday in the BBC. So if you have time, so you can go through this news, that is in the Gujarat. Okay, so if you are a district collector, so what are the steps that you are going to take regarding this? So if this incident which come into the notice of you, so what are the steps that you are going to take? So this will be like the questions that asked in your interview itself. So try to give me your opinions in the comment box. Don't forget about this. And if you are talking about some facts regarding this NAMASTE scheme, it is nothing but the full form is National Action Plan for Mechanized Sanitation Ecosystem. So the nodal ministries were the Department of Drinking Water, Sanitation, and Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So the important aim it is to achieve outcomes like zero fatalities in sanitation work in India. Okay, and here we need to reduce the number of people who are dying with this health problems because of this sanitation. And this one is no sanitation worker should come in direct contact with the fecal matter. So if you are talking about implementation, so this scheme will be implemented from this 2022 to 2026 across 500 cities and townships. Okay, so this is about this topic, and now let us try to see next topic. It is about Marburg virus. So title says, what is Marburg virus? The Ebola-like outbreak now confirmed in Ghana. So actually I remember one song regarding this Marburg virus. So it is mainly done by I think Shanmugh and Diti Sunaina. They were famous YouTubers in Telugu language, and they came up with one song. It is regarding this Marburg virus itself. So they will give some introduction regarding this Marburg virus. So if you are from Telugu states like Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, you can go through that song of this Marburg virus of this Diti Sunaina and Shanmugh, so that you will be getting some idea regarding, so what is this Marburg virus, so what are the things which are mainly said by doctor there. So actually this article is important from your science and technology. So if you see context, it mainly says that the first 2 cases of this Marburg virus, actually it is like a very highly contagious Ebola like disease, and this do not have a proper treatment. So it is one cause of concern, and this Marburg virus is a very, very highly contagious disease and has been officially confirmed in Ghana. Okay, actually it is not the first time, it is only the second time this disease has been detected in Western African countries. So if we are talking about details regarding this Marburg disease, so it is earlier known as this Marburg hemorrhagic fever. It is a very severe and it is also a fatal hemorrhagic fever. It is like Ebola itself, and this Marburg also belongs to this filovirus. Okay, actually the fruit bats, they are the natural host of this Marburg virus. So actually it was first detected in year 1967, and later on we saw the simultaneous outbreaks in Marburg and as well as Frankfurt in Germany and Belgrade, Serbia, etc. So if we're talking about symptoms and if we're talking about incubation period, so after one's onset of the symptoms is happening, so which mainly begin any time within 2 to 21 days after this virus which entered into our body. So you will be getting signs and symptoms like fever, muscle aches, severe headaches, etc. And actually there is no approved antiviral treatment or vaccine for this disease till now. So because of this, it is one of the important, and if we are not going to control this, means yes, we are going to experience one more pandemic in near future. Okay, so this is about this topic, and these are some important articles that appear in Hindu and as well as some other newspapers. So I tried to cover all the current affairs of today's. Okay, so now let us try to see Hindu newspaper PDF. So this is our today's Hindu, and date is July 28th, and this is Delhi edition. So first article, it is regarding President post in Sri Lanka. Three-way contest in the offing for President post in Sri Lanka. So you have to go to that, and because Sri Lanka is a near neighbor, so we have to know about the politics, how it is going on and how it mainly going to affect India-Sri Lanka relations. And next topic, it is regarding Tamil Nadu anti-NEET bill. I discussed about this topic. And if you move forward, you can see here over 1.6 lakh Indians they gave citizenship last year. And please try to open your Lakshmi Kant book, and you have to refer the citizenship chapter there. And so it is regarding Agnipath petitions. So already I discussed about this Agnipath scheme number of times, and this is time for revision. And one more ethics dimension that I can see here is woman delivers baby outside Sabdung emergency. So whether it is correct or not. So what is the ethics of a doctor here? Okay, so what is the ethics of doctor? So if you go through your syllabus of ethics, you will be coming about ethics of public service and as well as ethics of private organizations as well. So here we can talk about this ethics of doctors or duty of doctor here. So whether it is correct regarding not providing proper emergency services for a woman who is facing this delivery pains. So think about this and let me know about this in comment box as well. Today I gave you 3 ethical dimensions. So I will be trying daily to provide at least one ethical dimension so that you will be thinking on that and you will be coming up with your own perspectives. And if you move forward, there is nothing much important in this page number 3 and as well as page number 4 and even in this page number 5. Directly you can move on to the editorial page. So if there is any time permits, so you can go through this country's draft constitution topic as well. And if you move forward, I discussed about this Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act. And in this op-ed page, I discussed about this the new drugs and medical device and cosmetic bills. So apart from that, most of the times here articles or like political articles that we are getting in this editorials. So reading of this political articles will not fetch you much benefit. So simply skip them. And if you move forward in this text and context, yes, we need to discuss about this national emblem article. So let me zoom this topic so that you will be having a nice view. So this is our national emblem, which mainly unveiled recently on the top of our new parliament building. So if you see this image, so here you can see 3 lions, but they are most aggressive than compared to the oldest emblem, right? So the first look at this national emblem at the top of our parliament house disappointed many of alleged inaccuracies in the depiction. So there are many inaccuracies that we can see. So most of the time, so this new emblem and the lions are visible like more aggressive. Okay. So if we are talking about the history behind this national emblem, so in this national emblem we will be having like 4 Asiatic lions, and in this 4 Asiatic lions we can see only 3. So one will be always behind that. Okay, behind these 3. So only for the naked eye we can see only 3 lions, and the 4th one will be always hidden from the general view. So actually, so this national emblem which is mainly taken out of this Sarnath lion capital of Mauryan emperor, that is Ashoka. So actually it is a 7 feet tall sculpture and is mainly made up of polished sandstone. So actually this lion capital, which mainly represents the courage, power and as well as pride. Actually it is built in 250 BC to commemorate the first sermon of this Gautam Buddha. And actually we have these 4 lions. Why? Because it mainly shares the 4 noble truths of life. And we are also having some other animals depicted here is lion, bull, and as well as elephant. They mainly arranged in the clockwise directions. And actually we are having 4 animals, like 4 lions are there. So these animals, they will be guarding north, south, west, and as well as east. And actually these animals, lion, bull, and as well as elephant, they are mainly separated by a wheel. So this wheel which mainly represents the Dharma Chakra of Buddhism, and this wheel which mainly contains 24 spokes. And this abacus, which is the abacus, which is mainly mounted on this inverted lotus. So this structure is mainly present on the abacus, and this abacus, it is mainly located on this inverted lotus shaped structure. So actually regarding the Sarnath lion capital, so the detailed account which is mainly seen in this Huan Sang's writings. Okay, so this is about this topic. And actually after this Kalinga war, this battle of Kalinga, Ashoka was shaken and embraced Buddhism, and he mainly focused on ahimsa. They came with this Dhamma from that time, from after this battle of Kalinga. So at that time onwards, he decided to propagate his principles throughout his empire by using this major and as well as minor edicts. Okay, so this is about this topic. And now let us try to see the next topic. And in this 10th page, there is nothing much important, and here you can see radicalization among Indians is minuscule. It is a thing which mainly said by Ministry of Home Affairs, and you have to know about what is the meaning of radicalization. And next topic here is all states agreed to GST changes on food items. So this topic is also important from your economy point of view. And next one here is China sets up LAC air drills as stock stall. So this is also important, you have to go through that once. And if you move forward in this world page, you can see UK records its highest ever temperature. So it is providing some insights regarding heat wave in UK. So heat wave in Europe, which is mainly contributed to the deadly wildfires in France, Greece, Portugal, and as well as Spain. So heat, if you are talking about temperature in this London on Tuesday, it is about 40 degrees centigrade. It's a very, very hot temperature. And earlier if you are talking about high temperature, which mainly recorded 38.7 degrees centigrade, and it is reaching this limit as well. And here what are the reasons? The experts, they mainly say that climate change, it is one of the important reason. Okay, and even climate change, which mainly driven by this global greenhouse gases and extreme temperature, they are mainly actually seeing now in this UK. And because of this, what happened, they are seeing some unprecedented impact, okay, like wildfires, etc. So this is about this topic. And if you move forward in this business page, you can see RBI helps rupees to study after 7 sessions of lows. And here you can see one more article, that is India's PV exports jump 26% in April June. Okay, so recently the study by Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, they mainly said that there is increasing of this photovoltaic exports from India. It mainly led to increasing of 26%. So these are some important articles that you have to refer. And by this I am concluding. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So please try to subscribe to Rathod Science Academy if you are new to this channel, and try to press the bell icon so that you will be getting the notifications regularly. And one more thing is, try to join the course that we are offering in our Rathod Science. That will be extremely beneficial. And if you have any doubt, you can call me on the number, that's 8074765513. So by this, I am signing up. Thank you so much.